welcome back. Now, if you're just joining us, you're still on to This Morning, and I have with me here two gentlemen helping also take a look at the issues we're discussing today. Major Debo Bashorun, retired, and also Adeluola, a politician. Thank you, gentlemen, for staying with us. And we left off talking about generals and men of no small means, and you just enlightened us that, look, it's not all generals that are like that. And I brought this up because sometimes it's difficult for people to reconcile the fact that you were in office and you left office and you don't have means. And because sometimes it's not because you want to acquire those means. It's because the society put pressure on you because of their several demands on you, and the kind of wonder that, look, how can you come back to this community without means? And how do we place the present day man, the present day politician who has mounting pressure from home front, and he is occupying a position? This is the president that has been able to live within reasonable means. How do we place, look at the challenges of politicians of today?
Well, I think it depends on the orientation of Nigerians. We need to be reoriented completely, overhaul of the way we think, the way we embrace things, the way we look at things. You see, there's a difference between perception and looking at something and seeing something. The perception has always been there. Let me take the military angle first. I can tell you authoritatively on this platform that there are some generals who are still tenants, retired as generals in Nigeria today.
As tenants? As
tenants. They are tenants. They don't have their houses of their own. We have them. There are plenty. So some of the generals that we all know that we use as a yardstick to measure other generals are they are the few that has contaminated the name of the military. Is a very noble profession. We were not supposed to go in there and just cut away the commonwealth of the nation. No, that's not our training. That's not. But unfortunately, from my own little experience while I was in government, I can tell you that there's no smoke without fire. Each time we come into power like that, we are always guided by, quote unquote, these civilians who tell us what to do and what not to do. What I'm trying to say here is that they too were instrumental into all this mess that the military has found itself in. So they too cannot be absorbed. Because we are dealing with Nigerians. But on the other hand, you're talking about politicians. We need to go back to our roots, and that is honor before any other thing. And it's the duty of the public, of the Nigerians, the totality of the Nigerians. The politicians are Nigerians too. We should keep them on their toes. We should not keep quiet in the face of flagrant abuse of our resources and that kind of thing. It is the duty. The orientation has to change. We all have to believe in this nation. If you see your neighbor now, it's unlike what it used to be in the past. If you see your neighbor who was virtually somebody who was renting a one-room apartment before, and now the following day is riding a Lexus, questions should be raised. How did they get that?
Say, what's your business?
Oh, yes, that you used to be, but this is the orientation I'm talking about now. It is our business, it is my business, it is his business. Because if we allow Debo, for instance, to shortchange the system, then it's going to boomerang. It's going to affect your child, his child, and everybody's children. So this is the way we have to fight this war. The people who want to milk the economy, go abroad. You'll be surprised at what Nigerians are doing overseas, cutting the money here to go and buy properties here and there. So you'll be wondering, medical system needs support. Virtually everything in this country, we have to do it in a way that we now think twice before going abroad for anything. And this is the way we have to do it. Okay. The change has to come, and the change is within us. We are the people.
The change is within us.
It is within us.
Okay, I'll come back to you. I have Reverend Dominic from Adeluola on the line. Reverend, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Nice to have you.
Good morning. You are guest.
Good morning, sir.
Spoken well.
Good morning.
But I would like to say this. I was shocked myself to see the properties a former general, a BTF chairman, and even a former minister for petroleum has. I think it's a commendable thing to show that the man is disciplined. But this is what I call ad hoc issue. If you want to make Nigeria better, let Mr. President put a bill in National Assembly to make it compulsory that every public officer should declare his assets openly because of peculiar circumstances. People who make Americans strong do not make it a personal issue. They make things constitutional issue. So we are watching Mr. President from now to next 30 days to push a bill in National Assembly that whoever will serve Nigeria henceforth should declare his assets publicly. Number two, the corruption is a brother to stealing. In fact, stealing is the senior brother of corruption. Like the former president said, maybe he didn't explain well, corruption is not stealing, stealing is corruption. Stealing is a senior brother. Let me tell you what is corruption. And I want to say, because I'm involved, we speak about the change, we put our neck on this change. If Mr. President presently constitutes his teaching cabinet from people he said he knew from his own area, what does 30 years coming, an Igbo president coming to power and take people from his own state as his teaching cabinet? It couldn't have gone well. This is a bad precedent. It is on record today. I don't know, we can call Obasanjo's name. The president chief cook to Obasanjo today is from Borno State. His chief of staff when he was in power is from the north. Just to make the peculiarization of a nation, Mr. President must make appointments equal, because Nigeria is supposed to be a single constraint to him. And if he said for as a minister of petroleum, as a head of state, as a man who constitutes the nation for 3 times, he doesn't have friends beyond north. That would be embarrassing.
Thank you, Reverend Dominic. You've made your point. We do appreciate your call. Yeah, I was just going to ask this, that, yeah, good enough the president has declared his assets publicly, and like we always say, the fight against corruption is not just a one-man show. It should be a collective effort. And over time, and I think even before now, we saw the president begin to turn the searchlight on even the civil service.
Absolutely.
Now, I know also that in the civil service, they do give them form to fill, like stating your assets when you get an employment, maybe periodically. But I'm not sure that you have the code of conduct going back to verify those things. I'm saying it because still coming back to the institution that has responsibility to monitor and sanction. Now, if this structure, this institution is not well activated, we might just be involved in a wild goose chase. People will just come and fill in anything on their forms, and at the end of the day, now the president might have done it with all sincerity, but how are we sure that every other person who will do the same thing or who have done it stated their real asset, have not inflated what they have, so that because they anticipate that when I leave power, I should be worth billions, so they will state in there that I have billions.
Well, it should be a situation whereby all hands should be on deck. It's our duty, it's not duty. It's your duty.
Major, I'll come back to you, please. Let me quickly take Razak from Oshodi. Razak, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm okay. You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody in the studio.
Good morning, sir.
Top of the morning to you.
Now, my advice to the president, God wants to use him to make this country fine, to revamp this country, Nigeria. Now, my advice is to him about corruption. All those that steal Nigerians' money, let him overlook them. Let him have something to the assembly that as from now on, anybody who is corrupt in this country, let them have a capital punishment. If possible, fire squad. If possible, life from federal to state.
Okay, thank you very much, Razak. I think Razak is so pained and is advocating for capital punishment. Major, you were talking about the code of conduct, the responsibility of Nigerians.
Yes, in Nigeria, is whatever whatever type of government we get is what we deserve. It is we, the people, who can make this change work. The first caller talked about presenting a bill to the assembly. This is the other side of democracy. Those of us who have some military background, sometimes we wonder. And that is where some people will think, okay, they cannot be Democrats. Okay, imagine what is happening in the National Assembly now. People just came from the back door to take over things, and now if the president should send a bill to people who are on the list of those who are suspected to have done something wrong.
So how will it scale through?
It's going to scale through.
Okay, let's talk about how it will scale through when I take this call. Abayomi from Ajegunle. Abayomi, good morning.
Yeah, Eshomomoh.
Yeah, nice to
I'm
have you join us.
calling from the beautiful city of Adeluola.
Okay,
Good morning, Mr. Ayo and Major Bashorun.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the truth of the matter is we must commend Mr. President for taking this exemplary leadership because it's very, very key. If the head of the house, you don't tell children what to do. They monitor you by your body language. They see your actions. If you're asking your children not to lie, it will start from you. So that's exactly what Mr. President has done. There's two things. We as Nigerians too, we must be very vigilant. We must be very cautious, like Major said, not to put pressure on those who are in office. The kind of demands we're making on them is good roads, good hospitals, education, and so on and so forth. You need to go to general hospitals and see how people will queue up to see doctors, and at the end of the day, they may not even end up to see them. Some they don't even have beds, as simple as that. And secondly, too, we must beam searchlight on the spouses of these public officers, because sometimes they launder properties and the money through these people that are very close to them. You see their children in public places, the way they spend money, and these are guys who have not known to have been doing any work. So those are the areas we should beam our searchlight on and ensure that the Code of Conduct Bureau is such an institution that will be on work throughout the year. If a person declares, there must be constant monitoring to see whether or not what he has declared is juxtaposed with what is written in the form. So these are the areas that we must look at, and I pray that God will lead this man aright. All
right, thank you very much, Abayomi. You still want to continue with the point you were making?
Yes, what I was trying to say is that if you have a legislature that is at variance, is not what it is supposed to be. When we talk of change, it should be total, complete change. That's what can help this country to reach its potentials. But if you have the type of legislature that we have now, with all these narrow interests here and there, the man is going to find it difficult, except that we Nigerians rise up.
Except we Nigerians rise up.
We can effect the change. We can do whatever we want with this country. But if we sit back and allow things to go the way they want to go, people want them to go. Some people want them to go. Okay. It will be rather unfortunate.
Rather unfortunate. Okay, I have Hassan from Lekki on the line. Hassan, good morning.
Good morning, Eshomomoh.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Major Debo, Bashorun,
good morning, sir.
Other gentlemen.
Good morning.
Let us bear one thing at the back of our mind, that we are all Nigerians. This issue of making appointments to look like a national team, we should try as much as possible to erase it from our circle system. That's number one. Number two, what Mr. President did and what the Vice President did is highly commendable to all unbiased-minded Nigerians. This is the first time in our political history when a president that was formerly a governor of presently more than 5 states before, Borno State, a former Minister of Petroleum, a former PTF chairman, a former president, and now a civilian president, declaring his assets that are not up to 300 million naira. We knew what happened in our political history, from military to civilian. We knew how much these people have in their kitchen. Mind-boggling amount of money. The same thing applies to our vice president. A vice president money and his declaration is in good direction and is highly commendable by all. And let me be very, very frank with ourselves. Let me speak to our brothers from the East Bloc of Nigeria. They talk much as if they were part of this government. They are not part of this government. We voted with the people in the Southwest, Middle Belt, and the other part of the government.
Hassan,
for Buhari.
Hassan,
They did not vote for
thank you
Buhari.
for your point. I think Buhari is the president of Nigeria. I think every Nigerian has Buhari as their president, irrespective of who voted for him. Once an election is conducted and a winner emerge, he's the president of all. Thank you very much for your point, though. Yeah, I was just about asking you the Freedom of Information law, the act, because he talked about that, look, it's the responsibility of Nigerians to ask questions, to monitor. Now, the law might require a politician or a public servant to declare their assets, make it known to the code of conduct. But we do have a law where you can ask the appropriate authorities, look, what has X or Y declared? Can I have knowledge of it? Because Nigerians will need to know. Now, do you think that we have taken that responsibility seriously? Because a lot of times we talk or we make noise about you've not made it known. Meanwhile, the law did not say come and declare openly. But we can still go further to request from those. So I'm saying, how can Nigerians, do you think Nigerians are really taking advantage of the Freedom of Information Act?
I think so. But before I come to that, I think it's pertinent that I state again that we have the systems, we have the infrastructure in place, and we have the operator of the system, the infrastructure. But the gulf, the space between the two is corruption. If you are a good lover of pen and you write to the Freedom of Information Act requesting information, the bureaucracy there will stop you.
The bureaucracy where?
At the Code of Conduct Office.
Exactly, that was why I was saying that. Are they up to their responsibility?
They are deliberately not discharging to their capacity because they want illicit money. And that's called bribe, and that's the corruption. I'll give you an example. Say you are stopped on the road in Lagos, and a last man stopped you. Whatever the contravention might be. And then you, being a decent man, say, okay, I was in the wrong. And then what they should do is to issue you a ticket. Then you go to the office, you have to produce your documents, you have to produce your tax clearance,
yeah.
You have to go through all that process. But an average Nigerian is in a hurry.
Yeah.
They just want to give that man money, and that man is willing to accept. As soon as that money exchanging hands, you have stopped employment.
Is it your fault or the fault of the system that has made it?
You are both as guilty as each other.
The fault of the system that has made it so difficult. Why? Because you've arrested the vehicle, you now made a man go to your office, he go through process and probably cannot even retrieve his vehicle for 2 days. Why wouldn't the man just look for a shortcut? Is the system not encouraging that?
The system is encouraging, is enabling. Because if you are in your right thinking sense, you will not, on a good day, contravene traffic law. And you will not be in that situation. Right. Two wrongs can never make it right.
Sorry, I'll come back to that. I have Chukwudi from Mushi on the line. Chukwudi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Nice to have you join us.
I like so much how those people are analyzing things. Now, I want to say one thing. I'm an Igbo man, inside out. But the fact that Buhari made those appointments does not matter to me so much. It is wrong, really, yes. But if what Buhari wants is to get rid of this corruption in this country, and he wants to use only people he knows inside out, let it be. We can only judge him if he fails to use those people in a way that will really rid this country of corruption. That's the bane of this country, corruption. Once corruption is removed, every other thing will begin to fall into place in this country. Now, let me tell you, the House of Assembly, the National Assembly, he cannot cooperate with Buhari in this fight against corruption because almost all of them there are corrupt. They will not want to do things that will equal them or bring down their efforts to pocket money themselves. They won't want to do that. So I believe that Buhari is going to have problems if he tries to go things the legal way. Is there any way that that man can float sort of emergency on corruption so that he will use the ultimate power
to do things the way he would want to do it. So this country will benefit.
All right, thank you very much, Chukwudi. Thank you very much, Chukwudi.
Corruption is a nuisance, honestly.
Yeah, I think we all want the fight against corruption, but are we not wrong to probably maybe we're insinuating that the National Assembly is not joining in the fight against corruption?
I mean, my colleague, retired major, was talking about orientation, and then the politician as well. Definitely, orientation is highly needed, because for an elected officer to get into office, they will have to tell you what they had to go through. And that's no joke. But that does not mean, or maybe that shouldn't mean, they should be going after what is unjust when they assume office. The electorates, they need to stop demanding money before they vote. The electorate should stop demanding money before they vote.
Okay, we'll come back to that and look at how possible that would be. Now I have Fawole from Ayobo on the line. Fawole, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, nice to have you.
My own take about the president we have now is that people who are saying that we cannot get a clean man from the moon. This is a man that is not from the moon, but from Nigeria. If you see the assistance of this man, from the profile of what he has described, you find that it's a pure, honest man to the core. And since the time I knew him, I've been hearing about him. I've never seen him or anybody saying he has been invited to party. That day party, he has never been attending any function that was not to his conscience very necessary. He was always doing things to make sure that he satisfied himself. If a man can deny himself to be too influential with the number of opportunities he has, then there's nothing. Even if he makes a mistake to mention that he has a cat in his house, it should be forgiven.
Okay.
What he has not given us is that to start a journey of 1,000 miles, the first step is very necessary.
All right, thank you very much.
What he has done with his deputy, the vice, I think we go a long way. Nobody has no conscience. Everybody that has conscience will now to think that he has to change from his bad habits and let Nigeria grow. Okay,
thank you, Fawole. Thank you very much for your point. Now, driving home stretch. Now, how do we? This is about the fight against corruption, and the president has taken another bold step. How do we ensure that the anti-corruption agencies fall in line? Because if we're saying we're fighting corruption, we must also be very careful so that we don't have impunity in the anti-corruption agencies. Now, Major, let me take this for us.
Well, just like I mentioned earlier, the ball is in our hands. It's either we hold it or we drop it. I'll give you a typical example. Just 2-3 days ago, we were in a queue around Maryland, and we just saw a small crowd gathering. What was happening? Everybody wanted to find out. This man just stood out. He was driving his car. He blocked a police car, a private car being driven by some police officers. He blocked them from taking one way.
He blocked them from taking one way.
He blocked them and everybody.
Please, I want you to continue with that, but let me quickly take Moise from Adeluola. Good morning, Moise.
How are you, Eshomomoh?
I'm okay. Nice to have you.
Let me first of all greet the two gentlemen. They've done wonderfully well.
Thank you, sir.
Let me first of all comment on the appointment of the president. An average Nigerian, like me, does not bother about who becomes a minister or whoever becomes anything. The most important thing is for the person appointed to do the job. It is you and I that educated. You are saying somebody has to come from 6 political zones or whatever. As far, like my mom and I, it does not matter wherever the person comes from. The most important thing is just to do the work. And then as for the after declaration, I think the Code of Conduct Bureau has to go another step forward. The thing is, what many people do is they will declare what they intend to make when they leave office. so that instead, so for instance, they have one car now.
Okay, I've gotten that the code of conduct will need to take another step to verify if what they've declared is true. Just because of time, just just in few seconds, your last take.
Yeah, what I will advocate is for Nigerians to rise up, just like the instance I wanted to give.
Okay.
These guys were inside a car.
Time will not permit us to establish that.
The Nigerians who were around just gathered and said, no, it's not going to happen. And what happened was that the Nigerians won.
So Nigerians enforced the law.
Nigerians are the only people who can enforce the law.
Okay, thank you very much. Just the last take from you.
I mean, just to echo what he has said, we all are jointly involved in this. It's a concerted effort.
Okay, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for being on the show today. Ayo Adeluola, politician, social commentator. Nice to have you join us. And Major Debo, Bashorun, retired political military analyst. Nice to have you join us. My name is Eshomomoh Imoudu, and bye for now.